Z.
I'm Sifu Chad.
And I'm gonna go ahead and see if I'm gonna invite Justin right now. And if everyone just excuses me for just a quick second while we get our one of our main amigos on board here. Okay. I want to talk real quickly before we start. And to start, we got our sandbag, we got our water. I want to talk about reverse engineering real quick. If you're getting into a fight with somebody and they got some technology and you don't, you better reverse engineer what they got so you can figure out what's going on, right? It's a metaphor, it's a fighting metaphor. Um, there's the F around and find out. That's a very common saying these days, but you really want to find uh you want to be able to figure stuff out and figure stuff out quickly. This brings me to this concept of the question and the answer. In Wing Chun, we have a thing called Mansao. Get my hand out of the way. We have a thing called Mansao. Mansao is sort of the asking hand. It's almost like, hi, how you doing? Right? It's the asking hand. I don't want to get too esoteric here, but simply to point out a method of reverse engineering something is to have the question is the most important part, right? Not so much the answer. So you flip it around, right? You go, is it a good question, right? The asking hand. Is it a good question? This is uh so subtle of a concept, but an important concept in reverse engineering. Um yeah. So anyway, yes, is oh man, here we go. Lamar Yason. Aloha. Welcome everybody. So when we're studying something, whatever we're studying, and we should all be constant students in life. There's an old saying: when you stop learning, it's not so good. Oh no, that's the exact saying. So you're always trying to learn. And here's the thing: it's the question. The question is so because you can ask. I know an old student of mine was very popular for just asking dumb questions over there's this another old saying which is there are no dumb questions. I say and so my addition to that is there are no dumb questions, there's just dumb people that ask dumb questions. R- we really should be honed in, especially if we've been training for a while. We should really be honing in on what is the good question. What's a good question here? Right? The answers are aplenty. Um, we also know this with Chat GPT, AI. It's all in how you frame your question. The question is is becoming in our world so sig- significant. It used to be we would are hungry for the answers. I think at this point we need to be more hungry for the questions, right? Yeah. So we probably shouldn't mistaken this for a gesture of hand to shake hands. No punch, no grab, right? But it sure is friendly enough. I think you even see this in certain cultures when they speak to one another. Perhaps the Middle Eastern cultures. I'm not quite sure. Yeah. But I've seen this before. I certainly see this hand gesture in lectures. So they're not looking to shake people's hand. But yes, the asking hand. So just remember the asking hand and this meditation on our Wing Chun asking hand. How important this is, right? This is all so important physically and metaphysically, right? Physiologically and metaphysically. This is a very poignant. Oh, now I'm doing it really good, huh? Now you're impressed, right?
So impressed. Got that stance. Yeah. Voice.
Yeah, right here you go. Yeah, yeah, and you've got there's a lot going on here, folks, especially if you're a fighter, and you're familiar with body positioning. A lot going on there. So, asking the questions. Sifu Chad and I were talking about a product that we have available. I'm not sure if we're going to continue it and replace it with another, or just continue to offer this product, and that's the 9 transitions. We have a thing called the 9 transitions because it's all well and good if you can keep distance, right? But what happens when somebody clinches you? Now you've got a lot of problems that you have to deal with. So we came up with the 9 transitions, which help us to transition from this sort of grappling clinch sort of a thing. They used to be called the clinch transitions. Essentially, they're the 9 transitions, and they're all sort of working from a clinch. When somebody forces a clinch, then we have these 9 surefire things that you can do, that you can be armed with and ready to go. Um, and our main thing right now is we've had this out for years. How many years? 20, 30 years? I don't know. It's been out for a long time. So we need to ask some questions regarding how easy is this? How good is it? How relevant is it? Right. And so even whatever level you're at, you want to really ask important, good questions. Ask good questions, right? Ask good questions. I'm making this physical and metaphysical simile connection. Sifu Chat, is this making sense?
I think I get it, but
Yeah, I was just about to say to
yeah.
you it does, doesn't it? Yeah. All right.
But yeah, so like yeah, physically, Monsa was asking the question. Asking a question is also, profound. Just within one's thoughts, right? Because you really do have to answer, or not answer. You have to ask good questions, because if you don't, then you might just get a mediocre answer, and or the answer might not be what you're actually trying to ask. You know.
Well, we also have that dopamine thing. And we found out that dopamine isn't getting the answer. Dopamine is being able to ask a question. And
Mm.
so I think the term dopamine is actually very well uh, named, aptly named under those circumstances. Yes, the dopamine is coming from dopey questions. Oh, what's this? Yeah, it's a sandbag. Looks like a money bag. Is it a money bag? No, it's a sandbag. When we do martial arts, well, guys, okay, well, can I just put rocks in it? No, no, it's a sandbag. Yeah, here I am suffering with all the answers, and this other person is just getting a dopamine rush with every question they're asking, right? So, yeah, yeah, having good questions, man. We all want to be, I want to hear good questions. I want to be challenged with good questions. Man, you just don't get them, you know? You just don't get them. I think maybe our world has created our immediate access to all information. We don't want to listen to human beings anymore on anything. I don't know. I don't know if that's affecting this, but man, it's been a while since I've had some good questions, and teachers thrive on good questions. We don't thrive on good pay. Oh no. If that were true, there would be no teachers left, right? No, we don't thrive on pay. We thrive on good questions. Like, come on, like a good old Joe Biden. Come on. Oh, okay. Let's How much time do we have here? Oh yeah, we got plenty of time. We got over half of the time left. Um, then training, ladies and gentlemen. Homogenized sand, play school sand, 2 layers of canvas tied off, and buy extra sand, man, because I haven't been able to find. Hey, Justin,
Hey,
you finally made it. Aloha. All right. So let's get going. We are marked at 12. We're about 12, almost 13 minutes in, and 10 minutes of sandbag training. This is hand training, wrist training, elbow training, shoulder training, face training. Yeah. Of course, do not hit the sandbag too hard, or else you'll break it because you're so strong and mighty. No, don't hit the sandbag too hard because you don't want to mess with. These are tiny little bones in your hands. Yeah, you need to be able to use these hands and enjoy your hands. So this is just very gradual training. If you're holding the sandbag like we both are right now, then you get that extra exercise of training the arm system. Now, this Dirty Dojo session is mostly about, we do a couple exercises. We always do sandbag training, and then we'll usually do a stance style exercise. And that's it. Very simple. We keep it simple here, but very effective, right? But mostly what this platform is for your questions, is to take on any of your questions other than like what color is your, I don't know what the hell. Yeah, see, not good questions. This live stream is in respect to martial arts and martial art exercises.
a moth just crept into my room and kind of flew on me.
So since today is my lower body core day for training, I'm gonna I'm gonna turn you guys on to I don't know, one of those exercises. Unless of course Chad has something he wants to do. Yeah,
Uh,
this is like exercise request, almost like a DJ. We're an EJ exercise request. Exercise jockeys. What exercise would you like to see? Oh, here. Let's turn this script around. This next exercise that we do after Sandbag, if somebody in the comments has a suggestion, then that will take precedence over Sifu Chad. You see where I'm going there? So if it's a guest, they got first priority. Then if it's our priority or our geez, why can't I talk right now? If it's our main student, senior student, that's the word I'm trying to use. I'm trying to stay away from using the word senior. If it's our senior student, then he takes second priority. Chad, you take third priority, and then I have the last priority on whatever. Again, whatever the exercise is. Well, but give us an exercise to do. We're exercise jockeys right now. Exercise jockeys. Now, sand training is really important. You don't want to get all crazy. Like you're seeing me hitting this thing on nuts. Don't do that. That's stupid. I'm just all full of testosterone right now. I don't know why. But yeah, don't hit this thing too hard. Right. You're just trying to gradually build the strength and density in your bones, your ligaments, your tendons, and of course, martial art reasoning. You never want to ask a weak question. Oh, you see where I've been going with this all along? Asking a weak question. You put a weak hand out there. Oh, you put an uneducated hand out there. Ooh.
yeah,
Is that metaphor making more sense?
yeah. That's a good metaphor.
Okay.
That is, yeah. Can't be a weak one, so
Yes,
you got
yes. Mamsao,
your whole
mamsao.
being, your whole being behind that monster.
That's right. Here's an example of a weak mamsao.
Right.
That's an example of a weak mamsao. That's all. That's all. If you do martial arts, you understand what we're saying. Now, here's an example of a strong mamsao. Yeah. Oh, yeah, boy. Oh, yes. Now, Sifu Chad is using his mukjang as a sandbag stand, which is not sacrilegious. To let you guys know, we are allowed. Just don't do your mukjang with a sandbag on it. That would be sacrilegious.
Yeah, don't do that.
Sand religious. Don't be sand religious. Yeah, the mukjang. I am against having padding and sandbags and stuff on your mukjang. On the
Yeah,
sides of the mukjang to hold everything down is fine.
yeah,
I also like it. Like I'll be doing mukjang and then I'll step off and punch the sandbag a few times, right? Especially if you have a multi-level. Now we're almost about halfway through a sand training here, sandbag training. Didn't we have a sandbag training regimen that we called like dragon sand or something?
it was called the Sand Dragon.
Sand dragon. I like that.
Yeah, it
We
went like
might have to resurrect the sand
out.
dragon for a product for you guys.
That's right.
Yeah. It was all hanging sandbag stuff, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, very important, guys, to develop the hands with the whole Mansal system. You want to really develop this system because this is how you'll be able to ask the questions and get the answers, the good answers, the good questions, given the good answers. This may be cryptic to you now, but as you learn the Sifu Z style of Wing Chun, then these words become absolute gold that get translated and transferred into the physical. See, that's what Wing Chun does is it translates the physical into the metaphysical and the metaphysical into the physical. It also is very Wing Chun to reverse that paradigm instead of asking the question for the answer. You got the answer for the question, now I'm getting a little nutty, but you understand. In Chinese, where everything's turned around, everything gets flipped. Yeah. So again, this asking the question, asking a good question, being more important than the answer, is a very sort of flipping of the script, the reverse engineering concept there, right? I don't mind esoteric teachings as long as the esoteric teachings can be proven in the physical realm. That's why I love Wing Chun. Wing Chun really allows us to take any metaphysical teaching and, okay, is that provable in the physical realm within the Wing Chun paradigm? Woo, that was a mouthful. All right, we got one more minute. Now, a lot of folks like think that the Mukjung is for the conditioning that is really what the sandbag is used for. In other words, they're using the Mukjung when they should be using the sandbag for that style of conditioning. Okay?
Mm.
Honestly, the Mukjung isn't strong enough to be hit that hard.
It's
But
not.
boy, no. But boy, you can hit a sandbag as hard as you want, you know?
Yeah.
But you can't hit the Mukjung that hard. So if you need to develop a bit of strength in those areas, then you have to do that with the sandbag, not the Mukjung. Now, does the Mukjung give you the Mukjung gives you the training of the angles? Because if you get the angles wrong, then the Mukjung hurts, right? But if
Yeah.
you get if your arms are conditioned through sandbag training, then when you get the right angle on the Mukjung, it's effortless on your end. On the other end, they're receiving all that efficiency and energy is coming out their way. Yeah. All right, guys. What exercise are we doing? This is your last chance. If you have an exercise you think we should do, let me know down here now or never. Okay,
I
we've
say
got
like
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Justin, anything. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Chad,
nine,
anything.
9 kick.
All right, you
Yeah.
lead.
You say I lead?
Yes, sir.
All right. 3 breaths. Third breath, pick it up. Kimima. We're gonna stand on our right leg, and we're gonna do kick with our heel in, out, and center. So left side, in, out, center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right side out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. First set. Now second set. Left side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right side out. In, out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Third set. And our last set. Left out. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Right side out. Left. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Left to right close. Second breath, the hands. third breath of the body.
Excellent. All right. So the two things I wanted to sort of introduce to this stream, carry on over into our private stream. Reverse engineering. Question being more important than the answer. And two, not being predictable. Very important in life, in love, in business. If you're predictable, like this guy down in the chat session, then you're just everybody ignores you, right? So, but we'll go into that in our private session. If you'd like to join us, you can do so by joining us over at patreon.com/cfuz. Remember, folks, I don't know how long we'll have this available in the future, but if you go to cfuz.com, you can find our download. It's very reasonable, and it's our 9 transitions download. It's one of the most valuable things you can have for being out on the street and you can't keep your distance and you get lynched. What do? We have 9 things, 9 wonderful transitions that will kind of turn the situation around from someone trying to clinch you to you finishing and turning their clinch into a submission or a break or a how shall we say, a sleeper, right? But there are 9 wonderful moves for you. They're waiting for you over at cfuz.com. And we will soon, between Sifu Chad and I, we will have some more goodies for you in the future. So stay tuned with that. Thanks for joining us here at the Dirty Dojo. And we'll see you next week. We typically do this every Friday, 9:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. And we'll see you next week if we don't see you over at the dojo over on patreon.com/C4Z. Aloha. I'll see you guys soon.